my presentation, I decided to choose the movie Wolf of Wall Street. This movie perfectly resembles Chapter 11's Managing Conflict. The movie is actually a true story that happened very many years ago, about a stockbroker making it big in Wall Street. The character starts with nothing and ends up taking over the man who put him under his wing. The character Belfort is a very aggressive and competitive person that is also about this chapter's key terms: aggression and competition. Belfort's highly competitive and aggressive attitude propels him to the top and impresses his manager. Being in Wall Street, you must be a very aggressive yet subtle pressing person in order to make sales pitches. This business grows and makes a small fortune to grow his own business of a high degree just through his style of confidence when talking to people. The book says that being directly aggressive could be a bad thing, but when it comes to getting to the top, being aggressive with other competition is the best thing that you can possibly do. As for my second term, competition, Belfort is launched into a bigger business than he can handle. He is now making way more money and becomes even more competitive with people than he should be, and it eventually gets out of control. Being too competitive can hurt an individual as much as it helps them. In the beginning, he is forced to start laundering money from all of his scams, and problems keep racking up. This now leads me to my third term, avoidance. This character Belfort is now running a microcap stock scam because he is money hungry that leads him into a company of an investigation of his firm. With this being said, avoidance is the worst and most common type of conflict committed that happens in these types of situations. Belfort keeps trying to avoid all these problems building up and avoiding the law, and tries to launder to hide his money away from the government. This is a serious problem that keeps snowballing, and eventually all of the hard work and stress builds up on Belfort and loses all of his money made and wife and children. His avoidance caused him to ignore the rules and break the law, which eventually put the character in jail for a very long time. This key term is a great example of why we should often tackle conflicts rather than to avoid them, because things can escalate quickly and escalate out of control. My next term, passive aggression, goes hand in hand with avoidance. This type of behavior and personality is quite fond of Belfort's character. He has an indirect resistance to demands of others that he has worked with, like scamming his customers and cheating on his co-workers. Being passive-aggressive is a type of avoidance of direct confrontation. Faced with many problems with his personal and business life, Belfort's passive aggressiveness made him lose his wife and all of his drug habits and the way he behaved as a result. He misplaced many important files and procrastinated in dealing with his problems that he indirectly took out on everyone. After being in trouble with the law, Belfort decides to help his investigation rather than cause more trouble. This leads me to my fifth term, collaboration. After evidence of Belfort's crimes were overwhelming, the character decides to collaborate with the FBI and tells them all the evidence on all of his colleagues about the hidden money and the laundering charges. That helps him reduce his sentence all the way from 20 years to 36 months. He later then breaks his promises with the law and breaches his cooperation by not collaborating with the law, trying to get his best colleague in trouble, and gets arrested again. This is another prime example of what not to do in Belfort's case. Collaboration is the greatest of help when it comes to managing conflict. Collaboration by books of definition is a positive statement, but if you break collaboration efforts, they will result in a severe consequence. Collaborating with colleagues is what also helped this character get all the way to the top, but also what crushed him in the end. And it managed him to get stuck in prison for fraud when he breached his cooperation deals. After losing all of his riches, once being a Wolf of Wall Street, Belfort now made a small living hosting seminars about his insane story and helped with also sales techniques. Thank you.